Antarctica. It's one of the coldest and most inhospitable places on the entire planet, famous for dropping to temperatures well below what any creature can withstand. You'd think that nothing would want to or even could live in a place as cold as Antarctica, but you'd be wrong, as their polar sphere is home to a wide variety of wildlife, such as penguins, seals, and albatrosses. That's to say nothing of the aquatic creatures lurking around in the frozen cold depths of the ocean. Which brings us to today's story. In Antarctica, there is a Russian research station called Vostok Station. Founded in 1967 by the Soviet Union, the station conducts research such as ice core drilling and is famous for having recorded the lowest natural temperature on Earth, minus 59.2 degrees Celsius. In other words, really damn cold. Now jump forward to the year 1974, when it was discovered that the station sat atop a vast subglacial lake located under 2 miles of ice, which was named Vostok Lake after the station. The scientists began drilling down to reach the lake, but would not reach it until 30 years later, on February the 5th, 2012. From here we follow the point of view of a Russian scientist named Dr. Anton Padalka, who came forward in 2016 after the incident involving Organism 46b, to tell the world what he and his friends endured. Padalka claims that he and his team were attacked and several of them killed by an enormous and deadly creature who lived in the lake. According to Padalka, the creature was like that of an octopus, only much larger, around 33 feet. Aside from its impressive size, the creature also had other traits which set it apart from its cousins. For one, it demonstrated high intelligence, evidenced when it deliberately disabled the team's radio so they could not call for help. A member of Padalka's team was swiftly killed when the organism released its venom into the water, which paralyzed him, allowing the organism to easily kill and devour him. Padalka writes, "He tread water wearing a blissful smile as the organism approached him. We watched helplessly as it used its arms to tear off his head and then popped his remains into its mouth. It was as if it had hypnotized him telepathically. The organism still had a couple tricks up its sleeve, demonstrated later when it transformed into the form of a scuba diver, tricking Padalka's colleague into approaching him, which resulted in his being torn to pieces before their very eyes. As Padalka and the other survivors fled, a female member of the team managed to lop off one of the organism's tentacles with a sharp object, only for that same limb to later return and strangle her to death. This organism's supposed abilities get more outlandish by the minute, from telepathy to paralyzing its victims to shape-shifting to tentacles that have a mind of their own. The question has to be asked, is there anything this creature cannot do? After several days of terror, Padalka and the other survivors managed to trap the organism in a tank and brought it to the surface, where it was seized by Russian officials for an unknown reason. In the following days, the Russian government denied having found anything irregular, and Padalka and his team were ordered not to speak about their experience. But Padalka could not keep silent about what he had witnessed, and took his story to the press after fleeing from government officials to Switzerland. It is the belief of Padalka that the Russian government intends to harness the incredible powers of the organism for their own interest, possibly biological warfare. And should that ever come to fruition, who knows what terror might be unleashed upon the earth.